Welcome back to week 15. Today we're going to be discussing bringing closure to the career counseling. Now, bringing meaningful closure to a counseling relationship is often the most difficult task for counselors, and in research, it's indicated that counselors and clients tend to perceive aspects of the termination process quite differently. So sometimes for many of your clients, closure can make them feel very uncomfortable, even for us. So both counselor and client may resist closure. So closing the relationship is just as important as other parts of counseling, such as building rapport, trust, or that bond. So the primary reasons for closure, and this is probably the most clearest and the most rewarding type of closure for both the career counselor and the client, which is when the initial goals have been met. So this is when the initial goals for counseling has been met and there's no longer a need to meet. No action at this time. So this is where clients know what needs to happen next in the career planning process, but have decided not to take action at this time. In this situation, the clients have perhaps gone to the edge of the lake, but not quite ready to jump in. This describes clients who've clarified their interests, skills, and values and know exactly what path they want to take, but for whatever reason, they're unable or unwilling to take the path at this current time. One of the ways to assess specific reasons for this inability is really to take action is through the use of the career transition inventory, which I believe was described in chapter 13. Clients may lack motivation, support, independence, or even lack feelings of control. So it's important to help clients understand the reasons for their inaction or inactivity. And you can help them understand that they can choose if they want to work on these psychological barriers or try to overcome them. Many times situational variables, whatever is happening in their current situation, prevent them from moving forward. So perhaps it could be lack of financial resources, lack of training necessary to even change a job, right? So it's important that the clients at this stage do not feel blamed for the lack of activity. What about depth and meaning, where they lack depth and meaning? And the counseling session itself perhaps may lack depth and meaning. The pain originally brought clients to counseling has lessened, and the motivation to work in counseling has eroded as well. So for many clients, this type of closure is normal and result in a few dire consequences. They may need some more encouragement, and as career counselors, you may need to encourage clients to continue even if their initial pain has subsided. Or it could be the counselor and the client. The counselor doesn't really understand where the client is coming from, or vice versa. The client doesn't understand where the counselor is coming from. So it's important to have a good working relationship, and the counseling sessions are meaningful. Premature termination is when the client decides to end counseling before the counselor believes the client is ready to do so. Oftentimes, the client might say, I got the feeling that the counselor had little interest in me as a person. She had little routine of giving me these tests and telling me what I should do. I felt she treated every client exactly alike with the same mechanized, robotic way. Why would I go back for more of that, right? So we need to make sure that each individual that we work with has a purpose, has a goal and objectives, and are meaningful and genuine. So it's important to build working alliances, viewing career counseling as a process rather than a procedure, and valuing the uniqueness of each client to bring forth the process. And if the client may not show up for your next appointment if they feel that they're not getting the support. So again, premature closures could include clients' belief he or she has achieved his or her goals, or the client feels of what may be uncovered in the counseling process, failure of counseling sessions to meet the client's expectation, or there's that lack of commitment to counseling in the first place. So how do we handle premature closures? So at this point of decision where the counselor and the client, their relationship might not be working well, right? So it's very important to really ask yourself how much responsibility should you take in encouraging the clients to return is a matter of your professional judgment. So, make sure you call the client. The advantages to that is that it allows for the expression of caring and concern for the client. It gives a counselor a chance to collect information about the reasons for why your client prematurely closed the counseling session and never returned, and learn where perhaps you or the counseling agency may have unknowingly contributed to the client's decision not to return back to the session. It also allows for referrals to another counselor or agency if it's not working with your agency. It also provides the opportunity for the counselors to leave the door open for future visits when the client feels ready to return. Some of the feelings associated with closure, understanding the range and the complexity of emotions related to closure will definitely help you as a counselor normalize diverse feelings and facilitate the client's processing of his or her own emotions. So, there's a wide variety of feelings associated with ending a counseling session. So the first one is, I rather talk the talk than walk the walk. And so this is the most effective career counseling, which is a blend of talking and taking action. The clients may feel that ending counseling puts more pressure on them to take more steps on their own behalf. So clients may become quite comfortable with the talk of the counseling career planning process, but the action may create fear and discomfort. The second one is, I feel nurtured in this nest, don't kick me out. For many clients, intimacy, part of the counseling process, are those unique experiences. The relationships in their own lives do not provide that kind of support or maybe that love and caring that you provide during a counseling session. So this nurturing feels good for them and they don't want to give it up easily. And because you provide that, learning, that conducive environment that encourages them to develop more meaningful and nurturing relationships, you might emphasize that they have clearly been able to develop this type of relationship. So you as a counselor feel that they can foster those feelings into the real world. The third one is, I don't have to say goodbye if I don't come back. Sometimes clients will simply avoid the whole process of closure, repeatedly canceling, not showing up to your appointments. And this is a form of avoidance where they don't show up or go through because of the discomfort of ending. But they also missed out on the satisfaction that can come with closure. So keep that in mind. The fourth one, it's important that it wasn't all that good anyway, so why process it, right? So many times your clients may feel less uncomfortable with anger than with sadness or loss. So when they feel an ending approaching, they may be distancing themselves from it through the process of disenchantment. So this enchantment may take the form of maybe discounting the counselor or even discounting the counseling process. So maybe your clients may start believing that the counselor is withholding information and not being as helpful as originally that they thought. So, it's easier for them to kind of step away. So why process it, right? And then the last one is, thank goodness I've accomplished my goals and I have my Thursday evenings free again. So this is where being in counseling is work, where they feel like oh, going to a counseling session every Thursday, man, I could be doing other stuff, right? It's really not uncommon for clients to feel relief, at the end of closure where they feel like they don't have to come to counseling anymore. But counseling may have been very helpful in accomplishing whatever goals they've set for themselves, but the clients may, again, feel that freedom, feel freedom when it's over. So being able to talk about this is important to helping them understand what their goals and objectives were and to close a session properly. So let's talk about effective closures. So think about you as a counselor and think about the clients that you'll be working with. It's equally important to review the content of the session. What happened is an examination of the process of the session and how it happened. So examining the process includes talking directly about the working alliance that developed between you and the client and how the relationship unfolded over time. So focus on the process, which is very important if there was conflict in the counseling relationships. So really examine how both the counselor and the client dealt with the conflict, and be careful, because at the end, if it's done correctly, it could be a powerful learning experience. So please review the process of the session. Emphasize strengths of the clients in dealing with important issues. There are examples that are given to you in the book. Again, the fourth one talks about evaluation. The closure session also has a time frame. You have to think about how well it went, what went poorly, what was the most helpful event in counseling, what was most hindering event, and help them reflect on those questions and help yourself reflect on those questions to gather information to help yourself and the client. So it's often difficult for clients to express negative feelings to the counselor. The client may need help in doing so. We need to normalize the fact that all counseling sessions have highs and lows. So understanding more about individual client experiences will help you as a counselor and the client understand that change is the process of counseling. Talk about things that were not expressed. Okay, closure sessions provide a place for discussing a variety of emotions and information related to relationship ending. Normalize a range of feelings and reinforce honesty and candidness of expression. Discuss how some clients feel fear and abandonment where others feel relieved. So understand more about the client's own feelings. Help provide a healthy, helpful closure to the relationship. The closure session is also a time of next step. So think about how you're going to discuss next steps with your clients. The counselor and the client may review next steps in the career counseling process. Sometimes these next steps are taken individually. Sometimes, referral services, or if they need to return to a counselor for additional assistance. This is where you can have a conversation with them, letting them know, even though that this is our last formally scheduled time, I always tell my clients I'm available in case they feel they need to bring up some other issues or difficult things, right? Now, this week you will be conducting a closing session with your Project C client. Think about the points discussed in the lecture. It's an easy read for Chapter 18, so please submit your notes on the session in Moodle. On your reflection, I want you to include how you felt about the session, and 2, what you would do differently if you had to do the session again. All right, so have fun, make it worthy, and thank your Project C clients that you had a great semester. All right, thank you.